I've had mental health issues probably for most of my life. So I suffer with depression and anxiety.
I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder aged 26.
Well, I have suffered with anxiety from a very young age.
I suffered with postnatal depression and post-traumatic stress disorder caused by a very traumatic emergency caesarean section and my baby spending a week in intensive care.
When I get about depression, the first thing I think is that I am really lonely. I could be in a room full of people, friends and family, and still feel like the loneliest person there.
I have. Yes, that really is a polar bear. I was diagnosed 10 years ago.
I didn't know that it was happening. I think it probably had been going on for a lot longer than I realised.
I was bullied horrendously at school. I can remember at 12 feeling very isolated, feeling very misunderstood, crying myself to sleep.
I lost a lot of things, my confidence, my career, and at one point I was made homeless.
It affected me not so much when I was in hospital. I didn't process anything when she was in hospital. As soon as I got her home, that's when it hit me.
Sometimes there's a trigger, sometimes it's something that just makes you really upset, or it can just happen, it can sneak up on you.
I was going through a really stressful time at work. I wasn't being supported by those around me at work.
I didn't make friends in school. Generally just felt completely debilitated, very alone, very depressed.
I had periods where I had been unwell but had managed to make it through university. The periods of poor health followed, including losing someone to suicide, which impacted on me greatly.
I started experiencing self-harm. That went on for many years, to the point I had scars all up and down my arm.
I had just massive resentment towards her. I didn't bond with her for a long time. Just really confusing having those feelings about this baby that you wanted for so long.
I wasn't sleeping, issues with my skin. I really didn't know what was going on.
Like a true disorder, it has disordered everything in my life, including my relationships and my finances, not to mention my self-esteem.
Sometimes people get this idea of depression is when you're really sad all the time, but actually sometimes you wake up and nothing makes you happy, nothing makes you sad, you're just in this constant grey limbo where there are no real emotions.
I didn't understand why I was experiencing these low moods, sometimes out of absolutely nowhere, and I didn't understand why sometimes I was experiencing really high moods where everything felt great. And that doesn't make sense, does it? Why would you go to the doctor and say, hey, I feel brilliant today, help?
I felt like I didn't have a purpose. All the sort of dreams and ideas I had about my life I couldn't fulfill because I was just overcome with anxiety.
The experience of having to get up and go to work every day and struggling with not feeling confident, not knowing why.
It doesn't always have to be suicidal thoughts, it's just the idea of not being there. If you weren't there, life would be easier for other people. If you weren't there, people would be happier. If you weren't there, people would feel less of a strain.
I would start having anxiety attacks. Sometimes I'd be too scared to leave the house, overthinking everything, like even the littlest things.
If you had the flu, everyone would know about it because you'd be sneezing or coughing or whatever, but we can hide mental health. We can hide it behind a mask.
Many times where I've been putting on a brave face, a fake smile, I just remember just thinking I didn't want to be on this planet anymore.
It is so important that we are not afraid of the word suicide. It isn't a swear word, it isn't a dirty word. It is fairly normal when we feel desperate as humans that we may feel that that is the only thing that we have. However, it is important to talk about that.
I'm in such a better place now. I feel so much more hopeful now.
The amount of support that I got from doctors, nurses, midwives, perinatal mental health team, health visitors, it was just incredible.
Well, I initially spoke to my sister and my mum, and they in turn helped me to tell the school and the doctors.
And although it's the hardest thing in the world, talking to people about it really helped.
Whether it is going for a walk, whether it's turning off your phone, just do what feels right for you. Talk to somebody. Don't keep it hidden.
Speak to someone. and don't feel like you are a burden.
I just learned that it's okay to reach out.
It's something I have to manage. The key thing I do is to give myself permission to put my well-being first, and I also spend a lot of time reflecting on my thoughts and changing my behaviour so that I can have better and healthier habits.
I did end up having to spend a short time on some medication.
I improved my nutrition. I did end up leaving the company.
I went into therapy.
So mindfulness, exercise, walking, that all really helps for me personally.
I would say talking therapies have helped me a lot since going on the medication.
Research in any way that you can. If you're not a reader, listen to some podcasts. If you don't like podcasts, watch some TED Talks.
Reach out to somebody, because there are always people there in the strangest of places as well.
It just feels like a weight has been lifted the minute that you tell someone what you're going through.
Anyone that is feeling like that, you are not the only person to feel like it. Just talk to someone, take the help, all the help you can get, and I promise you it does get better and you will feel like yourself again.
And find something that makes you happy every day. It doesn't matter how small it is. It could be a walk, a song, a conversation, painting, gardening, anything that could make you happy. Do that every day.
Give yourself time to work it out. Don't pressurise yourself. And remember that through great adversity comes great transformation.
It's okay to reach out. You are not a burden. You are not weak. You are so much stronger than you realise.
People's lives are better because you are in it. And even when you don't feel it, that's true.
It's just being kind, I think. There are ways of overcoming it. It isn't a life sentence. You can learn to manage it.
Happy World Mental Health Day, and thank you so much for listening to my story.